Classic stories survive time because they say something we need to hear. Even if we don't understand most of the stories, they are repeated over and over again. This is the case with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, a fairy tale from German oral tradition, published in 1817. In 1937, Disney presented a new version of the story as its first animated film. The Queen consulted her mirror, asking who was the most beautiful in the world. Upon discovering that Snow White was the most beautiful, she asks the huntsman to get rid of the girl and bring her heart as proof. In the Disney animation, the Queen shows her heart to the mirror, and it says it was the heart of a pig. In the German tale, the Queen roasts and eats the heart. Why the insistence on getting Snow White's heart? The same logic applies to the zombie, which seeks to devour brains. Evil has a worldview without depth. Evil sees only the material, what is in the earth, what can be touched, stolen, and imprisoned. Evil wants to achieve goodness by devouring the heart, and to be intelligent by devouring the brain. Everything exists only in matter. The same happens when an actor sees dwarfs as a form of disrespect towards people who have the genetic condition called dwarfism. The dwarfs in the story have nothing to do with dwarfism, but rather men who did not grow, and not just growth in height. Can you see beyond the obvious? Dwarves are parts of a man. Incomplete men where defects stand out, where less important characteristics assume a dominant role in the personality. Bashful, grumpy, happy, sleepy, dopey, sneezy, and the self-proclaimed doc. The prince is the man capable of controlling his flaws, developing his qualities, and presenting himself as a confident and courageous person. When all the dwarfs are together, they can protect Snow White. But one only, separate, is unable to make a difference. They are like children. Have you ever thought about the meaning of a mirror? After all, what is a mirror? Before all the technology we have today, the only way to see yourself was to look at your reflection in the water. On a full moon night, for example, it was possible to see one's own image in the waters of a river. The image we see of ourselves is never pure reality. The reflection is always blurred by the movement of water, or it is blurred by our imagination. With what we have inside us, we interpret what we see on the outside. Even with the most expensive mirror on sale today, we will never be able to see the reality about ourselves. Only the other can see us without interference. Whenever we look at our own image, there is a transformation. We want to manipulate what we see, make it more beautiful, change our hair, fix something. The mirror is a technology, and every time we look at it, we want to change something. In 2023, the book Snow White and the Widow Queen was released, which retells the classic story. And in this book, the mirror took on a new form. Like a hand mirror, what does it remind you of?
Get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
The black mirror. How do I see myself on social media? With filters, editing, Photoshop? And how does this change me? The question takes us to the poisoned apple. Not this poisoned apple. This one. The Queen transforms into a witch, which is her real image. And to convince Snow White to eat the apple, not this apple. This one. The Queen appeals to desire. What you want will come true without any effort, then make your wish and eat the apple. At the beginning of the animation, Snow White is making her wish correctly. She is uniting heaven and earth. Heaven is represented by birds. The earth is represented by the well. In the middle is her and the prince. To fulfill any desire, we must reach for the heaven, that is, an idea, a desire, a dream, a mental image of what we want, and unite with the earth, the material, the hands-on work, the labor. An apple is a way to free yourself from the hard work of turning a dream into reality. A technology because it is simple, just press a button. There's only one problem: you die. Either sleep forever or turn into a zombie, which amounts to the same thing. There is still the third option. Try to be the most beautiful at all costs and end up turning into a witch. The prince's kiss is the fulfillment of Snow White's wish. True love, the union between the feminine and the masculine. She says goodbye to the dwarves and goes to the castle to live happily ever after. But back to the heart. The queen wants Snow White's heart because she only sees the material, and the heart is the center of our body. The brain at the top is the heaven where dreams are born. The hands and feet are in contact with the earth, with work, with effort, and in the middle there is the heart where heaven and earth meet. The queen already has a heart, but it is not connected to reality. It's just wired into her head, thinking about a world where she is the most beautiful forever, without having to work even a little bit, without any effort. Remember what the end of the queen is like? She is transformed into the witch and tries to throw a rock at the dwarves. Since she only lives in the dream, she doesn't know how to work with reality. Lightning reaches her and knocks her off her feet. The rock, or reality, is what ends up crushing the queen, and the birds turn against her. The story of Snow White and the 7 dwarves is still more alive than ever. Some truths are eternal. That's why we show these stories to children, and that's why they like to watch the same movie over and over again. We learn how the world works, how life works, and above all, how we should act in the world, and also how not to act. If you are new here, please subscribe. Did you like the video? Leave your like.